Whether it be Arrow, Flash, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, or Batwoman, we've gotten a lot of throwaway lines and references to Batman over the years.
Bruce Wayne once told me that if you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth.
I've seen Men of Steel die and Dark Knights fall.
Just like Clark's friend.
Oh, you mean... I feel like they're more frenemies.
You know what I mean?
I thought it was pretty cool at first. They would always give me a little smirk, especially when they would do it in Arrow. I like that they acknowledged that he exists, or at least existed at one point. But as the years went by, it started to become increasingly annoying, and I never really talked about it because I couldn't quite put my finger on why. I watched Batwoman, a show that should work in theory, a show dealing with the absence or death of Batman, leaving a vulnerable Gotham City looking for a new hero to fill his shoes. But I only watched one season because, you know.
There's an old saying in Tennessee, I know it's in Texas, probably in Tennessee, that says, "Fool me once, shame on you. If fool me, we can't get fooled again."
And now that Batwoman is dead and buried, there's another show that's arisen from its ashes, a new show that also deals with the death of Batman, leaving a vulnerable Gotham City that needs heroes to fill his shoes. But there's a twist, because Batman's new made-up son is gonna link up with the daughters and sons of some of Gotham's premier villains like Two-Face and the Joker. If you couldn't tell by the thumbnail, I'm talking about Gotham Knights. So I'm gonna spend a minute doing what I hate to see other YouTubers do, which is talk about why something isn't going to work before actually seeing it. I'm a hypocrite. Sorry, I'm human. But after this very small moment of complaining, I want to offer a critique and a tweak that I think could actually make this show work. And if at any point in this video you hear something you like, be sure to give the video a like too. This doesn't work for me for one simple reason. Batman doesn't actually exist in any of these shows. Yes, he's mentioned, yes, he's referenced, yes, he's talked about and nodded at, but he doesn't actually exist. He's simply a plot contrivance. He's not a real character that we've actually spent any time with in any of these shows. And I really hate this saying because it really makes no sense whatsoever, but they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. They want us to care about Batman's legacy. They want us to care that Batman is dead or missing. And most importantly, they want us to care about the relationships between him and the characters that he left behind in his absence or death. But they're breaking the cardinal rule. Show, don't tell. I know a lot of people are hit or miss on DC's Titans show, but they do this pretty well. Bruce Wayne is a side character in the story of the Titans. And even though in this show I feel Dick Grayson's story arc was spread out a little too long, and I feel like Jason Todd's storyline was rushed, we at least understand fully why these characters are the way they are. We understand and accept how they feel towards Bruce Wayne because we see their relationship play out in multiple scenes throughout this show. So when there is moments of drama and contention, it doesn't feel as melodramatic because it's not just expository scenes. So even though Bruce Wayne isn't a main character or a main focal point of the show by any means, we at least get to feel some of that weight. So with that being said, instead of making a video about a show that none of us have actually seen, I'm going to offer a perspective in a way that I think this show could actually work. They probably won't happen, but it's just fun to do. When it comes to any story, the most important part of these shows are relationships, whether they be platonic friendships, actual romances, family members, whatever it may be. So if for whatever reason I had control over this show, if this was a 15 episode series, for the first 4 episodes, I would keep Bruce Wayne alive. So we know in this show that Bruce Wayne's adopted son is gonna be a made up character by the name Turner Hayes. They could have used Damian Wayne, but whatever. We're stuck with old Turner here, a character that nobody knows and nobody cares about. And we're supposed to believe that the kid that was adopted by Bruce Wayne would want to kill him for his money. I mean, I guess it makes sense, but it's just a really flimsy motive. So that's why I would keep Bruce Wayne alive for a few episodes so we can actually build that tension and motive. Because I assume they're gonna want this to play out kind of like a whodunit thriller type show. At least that's the vibes I'm getting from the trailer. Even though I think it's really stupid to have the other kids be daughters and sons of villains, whatever. Let's just keep them the way they are, because that allows us to not have to care about their actual real motives kids because they're kids of villains. And you know, if your parents are villain, I guess that makes you a villain too. But for Turner, we need some motive. We would have to pick an angle, and there's multiple angles that we could choose from. Maybe he feels extremely neglected by Bruce, but he never says anything to him because he doesn't want to appear ungrateful for everything that Bruce Wayne's done for him. But secretly, he wishes that he would spend more time with him and doing more fatherly things. But obviously, he's not because he's out being Batman. Then we got another decision to make. Do we let Turner know that Bruce Wayne was Batman beforehand or not? If we went the route where he didn't know, when he eventually meets Carrie Kelly and figures out that she's his little Robin, extremely cringy line, that would give us another angle for some more drama. We know these shows love their drama. Now we have a clear-cut, in-person reason why Turner would be upset with Kelly for future episodes, because she got all the time spent and affection from Bruce that Turner wished that he got. Or we can go the route that Turner already knew that Bruce was Batman and he knew that Carrie was Robin, so we could have that tension from the jump. Either way, I think it would work, but I think it works better if he knew beforehand, because it would show that he has some type of competence and it would give us a reason to root for him at least. But anyways, let's get back to building some motive. Maybe we see plenty of scenes of Turner trying to connect with Bruce on different levels and being shut down. Bruce telling him that he has work to do and he doesn't have time to hang out right now, but maybe later, and he never gives that time. And over the course of this 4 episodes where Bruce is alive, we see Turner getting more and more frustrated. Maybe in episode 2 or 3 is where Turner finds out that Bruce is Batman and he confronts him about it and also says that he wants to help. This would be a way for them to connect and spend more time together after all. This would also be a cool little moment to do some character building for this version of Bruce Wayne. Since this version of Bruce Wayne is already at Carrie Kelly as his Robin, maybe he's already had Tim Drake, Dick Grayson, and Jason Todd as past Robins. Maybe he feels extremely guilty about bringing his adoptive sons into battle, but of course, he's Bruce Wayne and closed off and doesn't really know how to express his emotions, so instead of telling Turner this, he just goes off on him and scolds him. That'll be an easy way to not only do some sneaky character development for this version of Bruce Wayne, so we actually feel a little something when he inevitably dies, but we're also doing some world building in the meantime. And then maybe they proceed to have one of the biggest blowouts and arguments they've ever had. Then in the 4th episode, we finally bring in the element of Bruce Wayne dying. Now we have just created a reason for the audience to care about this made-up character of Turner Hayes. The last time he talked to Bruce Wayne was a huge argument, so we left their relationship unresolved. And then we see in the trailer where Dent asked Turner if he knew that Bruce Wayne was Batman. Maybe we see Turner clearly lying, saying that he didn't know when he did. And now, as an audience member, we can actually believe that he might have killed Bruce Wayne. Even though we probably know it won't end up being true, at least it doesn't look so shallow and hollow.
There's one more suspect.
They think I killed my dad because I wanted his money?
And that, in my opinion, is a surefire way for the CW to finally end this weird little dance they've been doing with the character of Batman for all these years, by simultaneously injecting a little bit of life into a show that seems to be dead before it ever had a chance to actually live. But I would love to know what you think down in the comments.